Okay, introducing my next featured guest on my show and podcasts. Taking time out of her busy schedule today, we have the lovely Lady Redneck joining me right here, right now on my show. Welcome to my show. It's a joy to have you on here.
Thank you so much, Dan. Actually a joy to be here too. Thank you for having me.
Great. And firstly, welcome to the show, Lady Redneck. How's life treating you today?
Funny that you would ask. Today I've actually, well, life is always fabulous. Today I guess I've got a lot on my mind, a lot on my heart. I've been praying a lot just because the fact that today is the day of our elections here in the United States. And so a lot is riding on the outcome of this election, obviously, and it's going to determine the future of so many of our lives and all of our lives, but in different ways. So anyway, I'm great. I've just
Yeah,
got a little bit of, I don't know, mixed emotions,
yeah,
maybe more so than on a normal day.
yeah.
So
A little bit overwhelmed.
yes, overwhelmed. I couldn't think of the word, but that's
Yeah.
that's a good word.
Yeah. Well, whatever happens today, here in the UK, we're rooting for you. All right.
Whatever happens today, what did you say, Dan?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
we're rooting for you, whatever happens today.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. I really
Uh,
appreciate that.
and I just wanted to ask you, can I give you the opportunity? Please, can you just tell me and my listeners just a little bit about yourself? You know, where you're from, how long you've been a recording artist, and how long have you just loved music for?
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's a great question. So I started the piano and the guitar when I was 6. I grew up in a really musical family and just in a small town up the state of Idaho. And we grew up playing in a family band, doing shows during fair circuits, weddings, corporate events, just playing music is what I did for a living and for our life. And then after I moved away now and have my own family, I've been away and they all play a little bit of music, not like we used to, but I wanted to do my own thing. And so as far as being a recording artist, um, well, with our family band, we did record twice. And in fact, one of our CDs, we sold over 40,000. But as far as doing my own thing, I actually started it in 2016. So it's been 8 years already. And I put out my own original music, which was really scary because you don't know how people are going to take it, if they're going to like your style. And so yeah, I just started and it just actually just kind of blew up and I just ran with it as fast as I could and just have enjoyed every minute of
Yeah,
it.
that's great. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I am loving the ride.
Amazing. That's amazing. So just told me and my listener about yourself. You're busy at the moment promoting a song called Walk in Faith. Walk in Faith.
Yeah.
And can you just tell me where did the inspiration from this song evolve from, come about?
So faith has always been one of my favorite gospel principles. And I I thought a lot. One day we watched, there was a new Netflix show that came out about Moses. I don't know who's seen it, but it was phenomenal. But I really started pondering on the idea of the Israelites walking across the Red Sea. And I thought, God, if there was a wall of sea on both sides of me, how scary would that be? And I thought literally they had to have a lot of faith just to walk across the Red Sea, knowing, I mean, sure, Moses has done amazing miracles, but just knowing that at any time the water could, and actually, it actually could come down upon him. And then as I pondered further and further, I thought, they've been praying and praying for deliverance for years. And God didn't remove the Red Sea. He didn't just say, okay, here you go, just walk across, just go this way. They still had to get across the Red Sea. So it made me think about how we don't have, like, when we pray, I think often we want to just pray that whatever our trial is, will just be gone, that we'll be done with it. But in reality, most of the time, God just either strengthens us or provides maybe a different way to make it through that trial. He doesn't usually just like remove it, right? And so I guess just a lot of it, the song came about just pondering on the idea of faith and the whole Moses principle and kind of what it all entails.
Would you say it was written from a personal experience? I know some people can go into the dark, but then they see the light at the end.
Say that again, Jen. What did you say?
Yeah. Would you say was this song written from a personal experience? Some people can experience, dark times, but there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that you said that because sometimes when you're going through a trial, you
Yeah.
don't feel that, right? And I think that it's really interesting the way that God uses faith and hope, and He often puts them together because until you've like lost hope, you don't really understand how important it is. But that hope is literally the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's such an important principle. But I'm actually glad you said that because that would be a good song too. Something about that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. So Walk in Faith as well, just told us about, where the backstory behind the song, putting it
Yeah.
together. Is there a music video to accompany this, where people can, watch a music video?
There is one in the works. It's not done yet, but there's one in the works that I'm hoping will be done next week.
Okay, brilliant. Well, we look forward to that in good time. Um, and would that be like on YouTube as well? And the popular video website channels.
It will be.
Yeah, because I know
It'll be all
Spotify
of it.
that I know Spotify do videos now, which is a great asset to that as well.
It is. I love the Spotify videos. It's fabulous that they did that.
Mm, great. And I understand you also do like to do the odd cover version. You did a cover version of is it Every Breath You Take?
I did. That was a really fun one because I've been doing mostly Christian songs, and it was fun to kind of jump into like more of the secular sound and just kind of have a good time with that song as well.
You certainly made it your own.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if you're going to do a cover song, I feel like you need to do it close enough that you give that song credit because usually it's a phenomenal song, and then make it your own because
Mm,
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of it, right? So, but I really enjoyed doing Every Breath
yeah.
You Take.
And also, am I right? You did Walk the Line as well, which is a classic from Johnny Cash.
I did, and that one was so fun. Have you heard that?
I
Have you
have,
heard
yeah,
that
I
song?
have.
So at the beginning, it actually sounds like Johnny Cash, right? Did you hear how he'd introduced? I
Yes,
don't know if
yeah.
you heard the beginning. Okay. Well, there's actually a cool story that goes with that. Is it
Yeah,
okay if I go
please,
ahead and
yeah.
okay, so my producer that I work with that does all my songs, his name is Brad Davis, and he's one of the top guitarists in the world, and he's worked with every musician. He used to tour with he's toured with so many big names. There's too many to list here, but for a while when he was Marty Stewart's guitar player, they toured with Johnny Cash. And so he got to know Johnny Cash personally and pretty well. And so he has lots of funny stories about Johnny Cash, but he's actually the one that did the voice at the beginning that introduced Lady Redneck. And it's so funny because he sounds so much like Johnny Cash that people were like, wait, did he do that? Wait, no, he's dead. Like, what? It just kind of threw people for a loop when they hear his introduction. But Brad had actually like toured with Johnny Cash and has lots of great stories about him.
Yeah.
So
Now you say, I actually did think it was Johnny Cash's voice doing the intro on that
yeah, it
song.
sounds just like him, but he'd already passed before I recorded. So it just, yeah.
Amazing. And also, with album releases and singles, do you enjoy creating the artwork as well? Because I was quite intrigued by the cover of, where your latest single, where you walk along the beach with a large ocean wave approaching.
Yeah. A good friend of mine does most of my artwork, and she's very creative. It makes it really fun. So.
And I was going to ask you, you probably get asked this so many times, but are there any other fellow musicians or established acts that you would wish to collaborate with?
Oh, yes, there's so many good ones out there. If I was to do some Christian music, there are, of course, Lauren Daigle, Amy Grant, a lot of the well-known Christian artists. And then as far as I mean, I would probably have to tell you for each genre because I actually, even though I do country, I love listening to all different types of music. So I've
Mm.
got quite a list of who I would love to do a show with or collaborate with. So
Mm. I know where a gospel country song is it Forever Amen? That's a popular song.
yeah, that one was good old Randy Travis. And he's such a legend of that. There's no way to do it like he did. But that was a really fun song to do. And I think because so many people do love that song that it
Mm.
made it really fun to try to make that one my own. And, Randy Travis, he actually lives pretty close here in Texas to where I live. I've never met him personally, but I know that he's in the area.
And a bit more commercial. I understand Carrie Underwood, she released a song called "Oh Great Thou Art" as well. Is that one of your songs you like to perform?
I love to perform that one. And ironically, I have not recorded that one, but when I do a lot of my live shows, or even at churches, I love to sing that one. It's one of my favorite. It's probably one of the most beautiful songs ever written. If you were to ask me, that one and Amazing Grace, those
Mm.
two just get me every time.
Yeah, and this time of year we hear a lot of Christmas songs. Did you release a Christmas song last year where you actually spoke in Spanish as well?
Yeah, yeah. Funny story. Years ago, right after college, I actually served a mission for my church, and it was a Spanish-speaking mission. So I got to speak Spanish and teach the people about Christ in Spanish. And so, at one time, it's been a few years now, but at one time I was pretty much fluent in Spanish. But now it's very rusty, but it was fun to sing in it. I love
Mm.
to any chance I can to sing in Spanish. So that was fun. I've actually recorded two songs in Spanish. One was a Christmas song, and then one was a remake, another cover song called Blue by You, and I did it in Spanish as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll check that out. We'll add that to the Spotify playlists. And also another song which I like this time of year is "Oh Holy Night." Have you ever performed that one? "Oh Holy Night."
Oh, yes, yes. And I recorded that one and I did that one in Spanish too. I forgot that I had done that because I guess I did two Christmas songs in Spanish because I did "Oh Holy Night" in Spanish and then "Come Play Santa with Me." But "Oh Holy Night," that's, Dan, you're bringing up the best songs because that is another one of those songs that to me is one of the most beautiful songs that once again would bring tears to my eyes. There's a
Mm.
few that do it, and you've mentioned three,
Yeah.
so.
Great. So next question I wanted to ask, when you're songwriting, where do you get like your inspiration from, your creativity, your notions or ideas?
And I don't even, that is such a good question. For me, songwriting is such a release and it's such a way to understand my feelings and kind of deal with the world. And so instead of writing in a journal like normal people, I don't usually write in a journal. I'll just start writing a song. And so usually when I write a song, it's something that's been on my mind and something I've been thinking about, or quite often, like I don't like to lay down and take naps, but every now and then if I'm like just exhausted, I'll lay down. And many times the song ideas come when I just barely lie down. And then I'm like, oh, never mind. I better write it out. And
Yeah,
so
because I understand some artists I interview, they make like notes or dictaphone voice notes. But do just sometimes you got like a blank canvas and you just start from scratch?
um, your video cut out just a little bit, but
Oh,
were you
yeah,
asking?
yeah. When you're
Okay.
writing songs, do you sometimes take a blank canvas and just like start from there?
Sometimes I do, but usually I've noticed if I just try to write a song, it's harder for me and it doesn't flow as easy as if I'm just feeling something
Mm,
and I start writing down a few lines, then it usually will just come to me. But if
yeah,
I just sit there with a piece of paper and go, okay, I've got to write a song, I'm getting ready to go back in the studio, I struggle.
yeah.
It's hard for me.
Yeah, I always find that side of things interesting. When you try to force something, it doesn't come, but it happens when you least expect it when it does.
Yes, yes. And in fact, two of my favorite songs that I've written, I literally I felt like the words just were given to me and I just wrote them out as fast as I could. I didn't even have to think about each line and I kind of knew how it was supposed to go. And so I think that when you're in that relaxed state and just ready maybe for the spirit or just for inspiration to strike, it's just able to just come rather than like what you said. If you try to force it, it's just hard.
Also, some other songs I like to just ask about to you are A Child of God and God So Loved the World. They're so very well received, on the musical platforms we were chatting about. So well received from all corners of the four globe and even reached #1 on the iTunes charts. Must have been a very satisfactory feeling.
It absolutely is. And quite frankly, quite a few of my Christian songs have charted on the UK iTunes charts. They've been really good to me. And so I've been wanting to go over there. I thought it'd be really fun to actually do some shows over there. But it makes you feel like, okay, good. Somebody's listening. They love what I'm doing. So it feels good.
That must be so reassuring when that happens.
It is because sometimes you question yourself, right? It's kind of like, you're feeling really good about how your music's going. And then sometimes you're just
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, am I even making a difference? Does anybody care?
Yeah.
Just
I understand
part of
that.
it.
Coming up to the Advent season now, December, how important is it to continually teach like the younger generation, the real importance of Christmas?
Oh, I think that's such a good question. For me, it's very important because for me, Christ is everything, and if I didn't have him in my life, I think that I would feel really lonely. I wouldn't know where I'm from, where I'm going. Like to me, he's the answer to so many questions. And so the importance of Christmas to me is centered around him. And so as much as I love the giving and all of the service, helping feed the hungry and do all of these great things, which is all about Christ, I think it's important too that our hearts are in the right place and we remember why we're doing it. And then the spirit of giving to me, it just fills your heart with joy. It just is that much more beautiful and joyful.
Hmm. It certainly is a magical part of the year. It's a very magical part of the year, Christmas, isn't it? For families.
It really is.
Mm, mm. Special time.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Mm.
I
And
can't believe it's already coming up this year. This
yeah,
year is going so fast.
has this year been a bit of a whirlwind for you?
It kind of has. I'm not sure why, but it just seems like it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. Probably we've gone on a few trips, and so I'm wondering if just being gone and then just trying to get everything that makes it a little crazy.
Yeah. And you're on social media, you've got such an impressive following. Um, would there be anything you may like to say to your fans or your followers or even your friends and family?
Absolutely. I know for sure I would not be where I am without them. I mean, even just the comments, I love to read the comments on social media. I actually read through, or even if sometimes I don't respond, it means a lot to me. And I just am very grateful. I crowdfund most of my songs. And so literally my fans and my friends are the ones that help me with my music. And I literally would not be where I am without them. So just very, very grateful and thankful for everything that they do.
And where's best for people to follow you on social media? Where like Facebook or Instagram, or if you have a website or an emailing list, where's your favorite platform for people to follow you on?
My favorite platform, I am not sure. I do have a website that has an email sign up list, and I try to send out at least one weekly letter that's not spammy. And I like to give, free song downloads and like give so that people don't just feel like I'm just like, hey, buy this, because nobody likes that. And I try to make it authentic and really share some of what I'm feeling so that it's, if they really care and want, that they're going to be able to get that. And then as far as social media platforms, Facebook is my biggest, and it's where that I've had the most success. And that one's really a fun one for me. I feel like lately I've been spending most of my time on Instagram, and I kind of go back and forth between, I don't know.
Yeah.
I try to get on a little on all of them throughout the week so that I'm
Yeah.
connecting and responding when I can.
Yeah. I suppose with the power of Google, if you just type in Lady Redneck and then people can find you, and then whatever social media platform they can subscribe to, they can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. And also coming into 2025 now, is it looking very promising for you? Do you have a lot of exciting things to look forward to?
I absolutely do. I think 2025 may be my favorite year ever. I've got some big goals and dreams and have already been, I know it's just November, but I've been thinking about some of the things that I'm working towards accomplishing. And I think it's going to be a great year.
That's great. That's why we like positivity. I did think 2020 would be a great year, but it wasn't for everyone so
It,
much. But
yeah,
2025 does have a ring to it.
it does.
Cool. It's like 2025. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good landmark, a
yeah,
milestone.
it is.
And I'm going to ask you, do you have any like amusing stories or interesting facts you may like to tell us about yourself, or may wish to share with your listeners? It could be like a funny story or what have you, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Yeah, sure. So some interesting facts maybe about my music. I do play 7 different instruments, and when I was in college, I was in an alternative rock band, and my hair was just wide, and I was a bass player. Maybe some of my spellers wouldn't know that. And growing up in the family band, I was the fiddle player most of the time, and just really enjoyed a lot of the fun
Hmm.
fiddle songs. Um, and as far as my spare time, I am a mom, so that keeps me really busy, and I love just sitting down and playing music. I also love working out. I love running, lifting weights, yoga, anything, tennis. I love being outside and very outdoorsy. I love fishing, and just trying a lot of new stuff. I also enjoy reading books, but I don't usually sit down to read them. I just do Audible and listen when I'm like cleaning or whatever. So.
Amazing. Keeping active then, that's the main thing. And another question I was going to ask you, on your website, does it list like any tour dates you got coming up, like gigs?
Um, I don't. I have tour dates on there at times right now. I don't. I took a little break from that, but I'm planning on hitting that hard again at the beginning of the new year. So
Sure.
if you've seen it, then I do have some Christmas shows that I'm doing, and I should put those on there as well.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you reminded me.
And are you based in Texas as well,
I
the state?
am. Yes.
Where's your favorite part to play in Texas, if not like say the States? What's have been like your favorite places to play at the highlights?
And well, in Texas, let's see, some of my favorite places to play in Texas, Big Sandy Hall, that's a really fun one. I like playing at the House of Blues. That's always fun. There's just some like local places. There's this ice cream shop. It's called the Cocktail Creamery. And they're always really good to me there, but they actually have booze and ice cream. And they have it, people are really kind. There's always a great crowd. And then in just a little town I live in, it's fun to just play local as well.
Yeah, like the intimate gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. If an opportunity arose, would you ever consider or think about like, we're performing in Europe at all?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've actually been thinking about that.
Well, I'm sure that will happen for you at some point. I wish you success with um, with everything, taught with your tour and your music as well.
Thanks so much, Jen. Yeah, maybe
Cool.
2025.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, that's brilliant. So I just would like to personally like to thank you for just joining me on my show. Telling me about your faith as well, sharing that with us and your musical journey as well. It's been, as I say, it's been a joy to have you on. And again, wishing you a continual blessed career and best wishes with your latest endeavors.
Thank you so much. And it's been such a pleasure. Thanks for the great questions and the great interview. I've really enjoyed it.
It's a pleasure. And we still got one thing to do, and that's get one of your songs played on my show. So your latest release, shall we go with that one? The single
Absolutely.
we
That's a
were
great
talking
choice.
about. Would you like to just introduce it on?
I would love to.
Yeah.
So here, I am Lady Redneck, and I hope you enjoy my new song, Walk in Faith.
Thank you very much again, and best of luck with this record.
Thank you so much.